even though we don't have our whole group of people tonight. Well, I want the 6. I will check my cell phone.
You're saying that clock is wrong?
5:59. That's because Pastor Joe wants to preach 2 minutes longer than, you know. All right. Well, hey, let's just start sooner and we can eat cake.
There we go.
Okay. So if you'd like to stand, we're going to have our invocation. And you all know Janelle Sterner, and she's going to share with us this evening.
Dear Father, thank you so much that we come together here to listen to the speakers, to be in fellowship. Thank you for this time and the wisdom. Thank you for everything you've given us. We ask that you bless all of our first responders, our military, keep them safe where they are at, keep the ones at home safe, keep everybody. Be with our president, guide and protect him, give him that wisdom and knowledge. And thank you for everything that you've given us. Thank you for all of our state and local representation too. Thank you for everything, and again, that you have blessed us with, and even cake tonight that we get, and Shirley's birthday, and many, many birthdays that are out there. Lord, we again just lift our eyes to you, humble ourselves, seek you, and thank you for healing our nation. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, and we have the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you know, these have been crazy times, no doubt. And the Payson Tea Party is just as crazy as everything and everybody else. And so, hang on a minute here. I usually have my books all open, but I was eating my lunch because Brenda and I were out campaigning this afternoon. So anyhow, we had our first board meeting yesterday that we have had since March. So you guys who have been faithful attendees to the Tea Party have been helping us out, keeping our bank balance up, even though we have been donating to, that doesn't look like Shauna to me, that's now Michael Hughes, who's the administrator here at church. So we thank him very much. You know, Shauna is going back into the hospital this next week, and they're going to keep her there until her baby comes, because she's got this problem. So they've been feeding that baby lots of lung developing vitamins. I don't know exactly what it all is, but it must be something like that. Michael, anything on the latest on Shauna?
She's fine. She'll go into the hospital a week from Friday and stay there until the baby's born. They want her to go to 34 weeks, which puts her into the 1st of December, first part of December.
Okay.
The goal to at least that far for the baby. So that'll be probably 6 weeks early from her due date.
Okay, so they're expecting that baby around the 1st of December. She's in bed rest down there. And you know, we were donating into her baby fund, so we're continuing to do that each week. And you guys have blessed us with your 50-50 purchases and donations so that we can, you know, do that. Also, when the deal with our church here is that if you have an extra few bucks every week, you can put them in the 2 little black boxes there. So as soon as I get my 50-50 tickets, which I haven't gotten yet, then I usually put more money in the little box. But I was eating my lunch, so I didn't get around to it. So anyhow, okay, so we've got some things coming up, and we usually keep our announcements until the last, but because we're going to be eating cake and people are going to be maybe going home sooner or whatever, we'll start it now. So I brought 3x5 cards, and we have pens. And you know, we were going to have our lovely Jolene Shinstock and Deborah Rose here tonight. And probably have a really big crowd and all of that. And first, Jolene backed out. And then when Deborah heard that we were having Tim Humphrey, somehow it got to her people that we were going to ask Deborah and Tim the same questions, and he would give a county answer. I'm going, no, 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 no. You know, we just always have like two speakers, if you know. So anyhow, then she decided she wanted to go back to messengers and do her own thing. So that's why we're missing some of our people, I believe, that ordinarily would be here. So I decided, hey, I have been campaigning with Brenda all over this legislative district, and I haven't seen any of my 4 kids or grandkids down in the valley and have not had a chance to do birthday with them. So I decided I was going to treat all of you who have had a birthday, especially if you've had a birthday since the middle of March and couldn't get your birthday party together. So we're gonna have a birthday party for everybody. My treat. This is not on the Tea Party. This is my treat, because we need some social time, because we used to get together a lot at Tiny's before the meeting and socialize and order dinner or visit with each other. And then after the meeting, people would hang out at least a half an hour visiting, and we don't get a chance to do that too much. So we're going to socialize and get to know each other tonight. So anyhow, the reason I have these 3x5 cards is when, you know, there's plan A, there's plan B, there's plan C. So for next week, we were going to have Tim before we moved him up. Then we were going to have a DVD, and now we're going to have a sheriff's debate forum. Not necessarily a debate, but whatever. So we're going to come up with 8 representative questions to ask. What's his first name, Adam? Chris Bender, who is the Democrat. He lives down in Globe, and he's running for Gila County Sheriff in competition with Adam Shepard here. And so we want some questions from you guys, and we'll take these out here when we do cake, and people can do that. So that's what's happening coming up. So, all right. Oh, so then for November and December, you know, in November, we usually are looking for people who are interested in running for the Tea Party board. And everybody thinks that I'm a one-man show here, and that's not true. We have a board. We have, Frank is a board member. Connie is our treasurer. Brenda, who I thought would be here by now, is our secretary. Soon as she gets elected, she's not going to be secretary anymore. Our vice president resigned, and George is not here tonight. He comes occasionally. And Glenn, his health is just not good anymore. So we usually have like a 7 or a 9 person board. So if you would like to serve on the board and help make decisions about what we would do, then we usually have that first week of December. We have elections, and then the next week we have our Christmas party and installation. So if you have any thoughts of wanting to serve on the board, that would be a really good thing. You can see me, and you can see Frank or Connie, and Janet. I wanted to serve again. So anyhow, so those are the kind of things we're looking for. Janelle might want to serve again because she's not going to be as tied up next year. So we're sad to see Janelle go off the town council. But in the craziness of this primary election, she didn't make the cut, but she was always so great. She was the forerunner of the new people that are coming now, that are the conservatives, because she was always up there asking the hard questions. And we appreciate you so much for that, especially when they were going through the park renovation stuff. That was crazy. So anyhow, okay, so Gary Morris is here. He is the chairman of the Gila County Republican Committee. I'm the precinct committeeman coordinator, by the way, so if you all want to be a precinct committeeman, you know, in the next 2 years, everybody's thinking, oh, it's not a big election year. Oh, ho, ho. The governor is up for re-election. The county recorder is up for re-election. We've got to get rid of Adrian Fontes. We have to get, the county attorney, the state attorney general, what else? The superintendent of public instruction, we've got to get rid of that way leftist superintendent lady, Kathy Hoffman. What else? I had all 5 of them this afternoon, but now I can't remember. Anyhow, those are going to be very, very critical because 3 of them we have got to take back. And there's going to be another senatorial election because if Martha McSally wins, she's still only filling out that 6-year term. So we've got another senatorial election to get her re-elected again. Or, if heaven forbid Mark Kelly, then we got to get rid of him. Kirsten Sinema is not up for another 4 years, right? So we can't vote her out yet. We've got work to do this next year. And we've got to be on top of things like the teachers' unions are about talking to all of our state representatives about the bills that are going to be happening in January. So here is Gary. Then he's going to have to head out on another meeting.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to bring everybody up to date on the voter registrations as of the end of October 5th, which was the close to be eligible for the general election. So we are presently at the highest number of Republican registrations in the history of Woo-hoo! Okay? Gila. So as you remember, we were a strong Democrat county since statehood, and your dad crossed the threshold as chairman into a majority, and we've been growing ever since. So presently we're at 17,218 voter registrations. That's up from the end of June, 2,912 registrations. So,
And how many of those are registering from Democrat to Republican?
well, we got quite a bit of crossover, and that was reflected in the primaries also when you take a look at the numbers. So we're at 17,218. The Democrats picked up about 1,000 since last June, and they're at 9,950 right now. So we're 73% ahead Democrats right now, and you add we were 15% behind in 2009 when we got started. That's an 88% turnaround. It's never been done anywhere else in the state, we're told. So that's my report on that. Those folks that are continuing to register won't be available to vote in the general, but we've got them captured for future elections. And then I just want to say something else that's kind of interesting. We had a regular monthly radio show. And by the way, on October 30th, we're at K-Mog again. That's the Friday before the Tuesday elections. And we're going to be going and spend about 7 or 8 minutes on candidates that we want to get elected. Brenda, Walt, and all those guys. But Sunday evening, I get a call from McSally's office and requesting to make some time for her on a radio show on Monday. We do a 1-hour show the second Monday of the month. I said, sure, we'll accommodate that. I got on my laptop, started moving the script all around to accommodate that. And I told the lady she needs me to send the questions that she'd like to be asked. That's what we do. It's their time. We buy time on the radio. And the host sticks to those questions. So come morning time, at 7 in the morning, no questions. So as a backup, I started putting questions together. I think 6 of them altogether. And she finally called me a half an hour before the show at 8:30 down at K-Mog. And I said, I'll email you the questions. And she sent back, these are great. But there was one in particular that got an interesting response. And the question was, considering the deep business dealings that Kelly and the Biden family have with China, and going back to the Cold War era, these are dishonest business people, and I guarantee you that they've got dirt on these people to secure their business dealings. So how can Kelly and Biden be eligible when they're considered a national security risk? And boy, Martha went off and talked for another 5 minutes on that issue. This afternoon, guess what her new radio ad is? National security risk for Kelly. So Gila County is again leading the state. So thank you very much. We also on radio recommended that any voter that has an early ballot can carry it down to the recorder's office and not trust the post office. And I'm visiting with Tim. Yeah, we already have an example where the post office is getting kind of wacky in violating federal law when it comes to elections. So we're pursuing it. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Say what, Janet?
Congratulations on retirement.
Oh, Gary's finally retiring.
Yeah.
First of November. And then he's going to be even more active as county chair, right?
Yeah, down at the Capitol too.
Down at the Capitol a lot. So, and that's what we need to do now that I've gotten a lot of practice driving all over the district. When Brenda gets elected, we are going to, be going down and working. Oops, I'm losing all my stuff. Okay. One thing that Gary did not tell you that hang on. It's my grandson from Illinois. I'll call him back again.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
Yeah, happy birthday, Grandma. All right. We have these, the Gila County Republican Committee has these cards that you can take, because we know you all know how to vote, right? But we'll have these out, on a table by the cake. These have all of the Republican candidates in Gila County, except they did not put Brian Chambers for county judge. But on your ballot, you have the judges, and I sent you all an email, if you're on the email list, about the judges to vote no on and the judges to vote yes on, to retain them, because they are originally appointed by the governor. Oh my gosh, didn't I shut that off?
How many grandkids do you have?
How many grandkids?
Maybe it's another one.
Well, 13 except one died, so now I have 12. Remember, vote no on 207 and 208. Particularly, if anybody doesn't tell you that marijuana started in junior high is not a gateway drug. So my 26-year-old grandson died the Friday before 4th of July, Saturday, of an overdose. So, been very bad for our family. So anyhow, but be sure and vote for all 3 Corporation Commission people and vote for 2 LD6 up here, Brenda Barton and Walt Blackman. And if you live down where Tim lives, then that's District 8, David Cook and Frank Pratt. And then it's got, Wendy Rogers for Senate and TJ Shoup down there for Senate for LD8. So these are really handy, so we'll take those out there and you can take some for your friends. Okay, Tim, come on up and share with us what's going on. First off, I have to mention to you that most of us here in this room cannot vote for Tim because he is in Supervisor Reserve District 2, which is from Gila South?
Pretty much Rye. Yeah, Rye.
Right, from Rye South. Okay, and the majority of Globe. So, and then we have Tommy Martin, is all of you up here will have Tommy Martin on your ballot. And so you only choose one of the 3 listed there for county supervisors based on the one you've got on your ballot. And then Woody Klein, so the very southeast part of Payson and all the way Star Valley, Young, tribal lands around, wrap around Globe Miami, Miami-Hayden belongs to Woody, but all three of them work for all of the people in the county. Here he is.
Thank you very much. Yeah, when I got elected, there's no north and south. It's all Gila County. And I think we've proven that with a lot of the things that we've got done. And sometimes when I get to rattling, I don't stop. So first of all, does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask of a supervisor or of me? Or, yes, ma'am?
I wanted to ask what in the Payson Roundup September 1st issue, there was a ad in legal notices, Gila County notice of request for sale proposals for sub-grantee for COVID-19 incidents management support. What is that and what's it for and how much does it cost?
I don't know. For COVID management support?
Yeah.
Is that through the county?
Yes.
Okay, is that a position that may be open?
Yes.
Okay, I do know that the Gila County Health Department received quite a bit of money for getting out into the community more for vaccinations and for like the flu vaccination. They got a grant to get out and promote the flu vaccination more than normal because of COVID. And so I would imagine anytime they get grants, then it takes staff and time to use that money and in the way that it needs to be used. And so if it considers COVID, I do know that we did approve that, and that would be my guess without knowing for sure. But if it is COVID, I would say it's probably through the health department and a grant that they received to help get more vaccines out over this period of the year.
It says send proposals to Gila County Finance Department. But anyway, so I just wondered what that was for.
Okay, if you want, I'll be happy to take your name and phone number and I'll look into it and be happy to call you back. Yeah, so afterwards let me know and I'll get your information and I will get more information on that and I'll be happy to call you back. Yeah, we do that a lot. Any other questions? Okay, a little bit about me. I've been self-employed most all my life. And so I don't know much about politics, but I do know a lot about business and I do know a lot about my county. I grew up in southern Gila County, and I've been an owner of a construction company the last 26, 27 years. And so I was frustrated with the way the county was going, couldn't get a building permit, and so I ran for supervisor. Yeah, it almost has to offend you to be effective. And so anyway, so I ran and I got elected, and I've been trying to run this as a business. Based on the information that I have, that's how I make decisions. One of the best things that I did is I established meetings. Gila, I have a meeting there every 3 months because that's all they want to see me. Tonto Basin every month, Roosevelt every month, and Claypool every month. And they're advertised, and I show up, and they're pretty much always the same time. So just come and talk to me. Tell me what's going on in your area. Tell me what we need to be effective, because if I sit in the courthouse, I'm only going to know what staff tells me. And I'm only going to know that because I asked them the question. And so for me to know what staff's doing, for me to know what my district is doing, I get out and I get in front of my district and I get in front of my people. And so by doing that, I realized that there was a lot of things that needed to go on. And so I would get this information and I would call the public works director. He says, okay, Tim, we'll work on it. So a couple weeks later, I call him back. He says, well, I sent it to the engineer and I'm waiting for his response. All right. This went on for a little while, and as I say, I've run a construction company for a long time. And you make things happen. You don't wait for them to happen. So I realized a lot of times things were falling in the cracks because everybody's busy. So I put together a team, and that consists of the assistant county manager, Public Works Director, Head of Roads, Dart, the flood engineer, and the regular engineer, and me. So as I meet with my public, as I go throughout the district, and I see if they need something, I put it on a list. And when we meet every month, I go sit at the table with this board of people, and it's like a hot potato. It's like, okay, I have a problem. Well, it needs engineered. Fine. Here, engineer, we'll see you next month with an answer. Or before. And so then we're there, then it gets engineered. Well, now we need funding. Okay, I have the assistant manager sitting here, the assistant county manager. Here it is, it's your deal now. Okay, we get funding, we've had it engineered, now it goes to head of public works. Here we go. And we've been able to be real effective with that because a lot of things were kind of falling in the cracks and so, like I say, after running a construction company for 27 years, you make things happen. You don't wait for them because they're never going to happen if you wait for somebody else to do it. And so that's kind of how I have been as a supervisor. And so that's worked real well. And it's been able to be effective. When I ran on blight and infrastructure. And so my first couple years, I pushed for a $1 dump day. Because everybody's got issues, everybody's got problems, everybody's got that filthy neighbor. All right? So the dump fees keep going up. And it's like, wait a minute, this is not working. You know what I mean? Here we're complaining about blight, but we're charging people more to go to the dump. Something's wrong with that somewhere. So, okay, I was able to get a $1 dump day passed. So the second Saturday of every month, you can go to the dump, truck trailer, and take your stuff. And so then we even changed policies because prior to that, if code enforcement went and saw that you had a violation, then you were summoned to a hearing officer. Well, when I got elected, the hearing officer and the person that goes out to see if there's any violations, they were both paid county employees. So therefore, no fine could be implemented upon you. There was no teeth to that. It was just like this roundabout here, but you never get out of it. And so the thing of it is I worked with staff, and so we got policy changed. And so the thing of it is now code enforcement is a paid county employee. But the hearing officer is not a paid county employee, but they are now a subcontracted hearing officer licensed by the state of Arizona to be a hearing officer. So then, now we can turn their fines over to a collection agency. So now if you don't do what you're supposed to, you can be held accountable. Because it's not my job to clean up the road because of your garbage. It's not, it's making you accountable, or people accountable for their actions. Sheriff wishes a lot more people be more accountable for the actions. He'd have a lot less work to do. But anyway, the thing of it is while we were changing that, we did it for building without a permit, animal control, raw sewage. Those kind of things all fall under that same heading. So now they all go to a hearing officer. Well, welcome. Linda, good to see you. You're sneaking in the back.
I'm so quiet. I'm like a church mouse.
Yeah, good to see you. And so, you know, that was one of the things that I've been working on to clean up blight, and I think it's making a difference. But then they say, well, you're filling up the landfill, there's too many violations. Okay, so then we're not recycling paper. Okay, so now we've got a problem. We're burying all that cardboard and paper in our landfills. We're going to fill them up, and we're burying all the green waste. Well, the thing of it is when that started happening, I went around the state and I toured a couple different facilities that built compost. So I thought, hey, we run 2 landfills. We got a lot of green waste. We got a lot of paper and cardboard. So now for the sludge, I got with the City of Globe, Town of Miami, because that's down there where I live. And the City of Globe was drying their sludge, which is from their sewer treatment plant. So it's treated sludge. And they were drying it and burying it, and Town of Miami was just stockpiling theirs. So I have all the ingredients to make compost. Cool. But what am I going to do with this big old pile of compost if I don't have a market for it, or somewhere, or a home for it? So I got with the mines, and the mines said, well, yeah, we're not really interested. Call us if you do something, but we're not going to help you do it. So anyway, I had one of my public meetings in Claypool, where there was just very few people, but the neat thing about my public meetings is now the sheriff is represented, his deputies come to my meetings so they can tell the people what's going on in that area. The utility companies come, Forest Service comes, Kelly Jordan makes it. So the thing of it is now they've turned into great information meetings. And so anyway, my Claypool meeting, I had 2 people from the state there that were going to explain to the public of what some road issues were going to be between Globe and Phoenix coming up. And so anyway, when I gave my little compost spiel that I needed a home for my compost, both the guys from the state raised their hand. I said, you kid? And they said no. So long story short, get with staff, conversation. The 29th of September, we started building compost because the state agreed to do a pilot program for 50 tons of compost. The great thing of it is I'm only one leg of a tripod. To spend money or do anything over a certain level, we have to have a board meeting and we have to have at least 2 board members agree to that. So anyway, what I did is did a lot of homework, like passing the dollar dump day, why it'd be a good thing to put before the other supervisors so they vote yes. Well, so the compost, the neat thing about that is I got a company out of Pine Top loan us the equipment to shred our paper and things of this nature. So right now we are in the process of a pilot program for a composting facility. And I'm just tickled to death because if the state is happy with this compost that we're able to produce, then it's great for the constituents too. I mean, it's good for your lawn because it has to, and once it's all mixed, and that's why you mix your green waste, your paper, cardboard, and your solid, and then it's got to get up to like 130 degree temperature, which it does that on its own. It cooks itself with moisture. And so once it reaches 130 degrees for so many days, then that kills all the bacteria in it. So then it's compost. So I'm really hoping that the state likes it and orders more, because then I can go to the board and say, okay, board, now look. We've got a compost order, but we don't have the equipment. We've got all the stuff to do it, but we just don't have blenders that we need to get this stuff going. So do you think it's a good idea for us to spend tax dollars to create a composting facility so that we can not fill up our landfills as fast and make a marketable product for the mines? The mines, 2% of Gila County is mine property. They do a lot of reclamation. Once we get a sellable product, I'm sure that they would be interested in it. And so would, a lot of people that garden or golf courses or things of that nature. So that's some of the things that I've been running on and trying to push through. I've accomplished a lot with my team. I could go on about a lot of things, but the thing of it is I work for the people. I'm not a politician, and that's why I get in front of the people. And if it makes sense, good, let's try it. If it doesn't make sense, then I'm not going to say yes. Make it make sense to me. And so if someone would like to know more about me, I'll continue a little further, but there's a point that I want to get to this evening because it's very serious, so I want to take a little time with that. I don't know how much time I have.
Yeah, we can go on another 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, because a lot of times I get to talk and they're rolling up red flags and yellow flags, and it's like, I'm just getting started. But anyway, okay, so that's kind of my basis and kind of the way I work. If it needs to get done, let's get done. And we've got a lot of grants that are super, that we've been working on for a long time. But anyway, one thing that I want to get to, and it's extremely serious, and I'm really frustrated with it. And so the thing of it is Tonto Basin is in my district, and they have a small post office. And excuse me, I'm going to put on my glasses here. The people that have post office boxes went to their mailbox. There's an envelope, business envelope, in their post office box. There's no postage. There's no address on it. There is no postmarks on this envelope. When they opened that envelope, there's a campaign flyer for a gentleman running to be one of your supervisors. And it's in District 2. So it's like, I had my Tonto Basin meeting. I had constituents come with their envelopes and said, Tim, it's mail fraud. You can't put anything in a post office. Somebody, I mean, it's not as if they put it in your mailbox out in front of your house. Actually, in the post office, putting flyers in the box. Yeah, Sheriff, I'm glad I have your ear. Because the thing of it is I told one of my constituents, I says, okay, let's get on our smartphones and see if there's a number for mail fraud. So she did. She called it with a complaint number. I called in and asked to be added to the complaint number. As of, like right now, I'll read this, it won't take very long. And this is, her name is Betty Davidson, she doesn't mind me using her name. And so anyway, today I called Trish in Phoenix, such and such number, to check on my complaint reference number envelope, put into the post office box, the reference ID number, so-and-so, such and such. Trish said the matter was being handled by Samantha Lamb, who should be calling me today. Trish said she would email this Lamb person with a reminder to call me today. About 10 minutes later, I got a call from a phone number, and I've got copies of this. I don't mind sharing it with you. I'm just not reading them off because they don't matter right now. So Samantha Lamb, Mrs. Lamb said she had checked into the matter and found that he got mailing information off the internet and had been misinformed. He decided to make a one-time exception, but postage had been paid. He would not be doing it again. When I couldn't follow this information with all of the informal pronouns, I asked Miss Lamb at every opportunity who he was. Seems Miami Postmaster Lopez, Miami apparently is a postmaster over some of the rural post offices. Seems Miami Post Office Postmaster Lopez made an exception on his authority as postmaster, but I am not certain I understood correctly. Seems man mailing this stuff was not held to the standards regard postal customers must meet. Did not know if Tonto Basin Postmaster Gerald took Miami Postmaster's directions or if Gerald checked with someone else. Still not sure to whom he will not be doing it again referred to. I explained my understanding confusion to Mrs. Lamb. I asked her with what disciplinary actions, if any, had been taken, and was again told he is not. He will not be doing it again. I requested her disposition in writing with no pronouns so I would know who did what, how, and when. Mrs. Lamb wasn't sure how soon she could give me a written response, but said she would. Monday is a federal holiday, so their office is closed. Today, she might get to that task. We'll let you know if I hear anything else further from Mrs. Lamb or anyone else. Supervisor Humphrey requested this information. I did request the information. I took this information and I had a meeting with Bradley Beauchamp, who is the county attorney. He says, Tim, he says, thank you. He says, I'll make some calls. He said, that's federal government. Gila County Supervisor has nothing to do with that. That's the FBI. If they tell me to go climb a rope, there's nothing that I can do. So I want to share that information with you because if there's nothing that anybody can do, what's to keep them from not seeing mail-in ballots? If they will stuff stuffed envelopes as favors against federal law for an election, how far will they go? And let's go one more scary thought. Federal government is minority preference jobs. If a minority person and I put in for the same job, the minority preference has 10 points ahead of me before we even start testing. So what does that tell you? Okay, if we go to their boss's boss, where are we going to go? So the thing of it is I'm not going to let this go. It's not that I think it's going to affect the election much, but it's wrong. And if they're going to be blatantly wrong and tell you nanner because there's nothing you can do, makes it even worse. So anyway, I had given copies of this to county attorney who's going to look into it. Gary Morris is going to take it to the GLP attorney, which I hope that maybe they can look into this some, because somewhere there has to be a top boss that has an ear that we can get to. And like I say, I've been self-employed my whole life. I didn't wait for the phone to ring. I went out and made the phone ring because if not, I'd starve to death if I didn't keep jobs rolling. And this is one thing I'm not going to let go. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to see or get a reply of something, because someone needs to get fired. Somebody needs to be accountable. Somehow, somewhere, some way, this can't be okay. So I just wanted to share that with you because it is election time. If you get a mail-in ballot, it's entirely up to you. But I turned mine in at the recorder's office, and I felt real good about that. But I don't know about the post offices with minority preference workers doing things like this. And this is not a story. This is not a maybe could happen. This did happen last week or so. So anyway, yes sir.
Well, the Postal Union endorsed Biden.
Well, that makes me feel a little warm and fuzzy. Yeah, that gives me that warm, fuzzy feeling, you know. I think I'll go buy another sidearm just in case. But anyway, the thing of it is you know, we need to vote. We need to be vocal. We need to let people know how bad it could get real fast. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that this world is changing, and it could change real fast, real hard. So we need to vote. We need to encourage people to vote, and we need people to know the truth when they do vote. And so anyway, I'm not getting any red flags here, but I got way off of me being a supervisor, and you came to listen to a supervisor talk. So if that stirred any questions for you that I could answer, yes sir.
Could you give us an update on the bridge that they
Yes.
built down there at Pumpkin Center?
Okay, the update is we did receive $21 million grant for the bridge. Or should I say we were approved. We ain't got anything yet. So the thing of it is that was a major blessing. A lot of work went into that. And so update on the bridge is right now we've already started working, because at this point, and like I say, I've been in construction for 27 years. Right now it becomes a management project. And so it's been designed, we have property on both sides, it's been engineered, but now the thing of it is we need to look at it, and we need to look at a construction company, and we need to put the two together to be sure that all of a sudden, somewhere in the middle of the job, it's not going to be, oh, well, this is not going to work, we're going to have to do something different, to create overrides. Because we have 21 million, we don't have 22. And we're not gonna come to you and say, you know, we're gonna raise your taxes to finish this bridge off because 21 million wasn't enough.
CC Craig?
Huh?
Like what happened with CC Craig?
Yeah, well, it's not, but anyway, so the news is, if we had money in hand today, we could probably start construction in about 9 months, and it's about a year project. And so the thing of it is, we're waiting for the money, but we're getting geared up. We're doing a lot of the preliminary stuff that we can that don't have costs attached. But we've kept up with our MEPA studies and things on the bridge, but there are some studies that need to be done that are only good for like 12 months or 24 months. And those studies we have not done until we got funding, because the little lizard doesn't live there now, but he might in 18 months. So if we spend $30,000 to make sure there's no lizards there, it's only good for 18 months, and we got to spend another $30,000 to be sure he didn't move in.
Where's the crossing going to be?
The crossings are going to be, are you familiar with where the restaurant used to be on that little point that burnt down?
I know where the pumpkin is.
Okay. There's two ways into Pumpkin Center. There's an east and a west, so to speak. On the east entrance, you're kind of higher than Pumpkin Center, and you go in, you take a hard right turn, and then start going downhill. Well, where you take that hard right turn, there's kind of a big open spot there. That's where the restaurant used to be that burned, and Gila County now owns that property. So that's going to be the taper off point there. But if you stand on that point and look straight across, there's an old 5-ton Army vehicle there, the one that they used to use. It's just sitting there. That's Richard Henderson's property, and that's where it's going to go across. Right there, it's called
That was a school bus, right? Is that what they used to use?
that was the old one. They've got a newer one, but it's still old.
Yeah.
And what a blessing it's going to be to not sit there and just shake and shiver watching kids go across. And Sheriff, how sweet it's going to be when you hear raindrops and I wonder what's coming. How many first responders are going to be in jeopardy today because somebody didn't know or somebody didn't plan?
Is it Reno Creek Restaurant? Is it before you get, there's a big radio tower there in the little real estate office? And that's where you turn left and go down like this?
Yeah, no, it's on the other end of it. After you go through the real estate and down like this, then you go up. And when you take a right going that way, it's on the left.
Right above the school.
Yeah, it's right above the
Right
school.
Okay,
Yes.
I know where the school is.
Yes, it's right above the school is where that's going to take off. But yeah, so that's great news. Been working on that a lot. Went to Washington twice to get debriefed on the grant. How can we build a better grant? What do we need to do different? And last year when I went, they said, Tim, you do a great grant, and you've been doing a great grant, but there's no human element. So when I got back from Washington, we hired a little film guy. And so we filmed people, stories that live on the other side of the bridge. And believe me, touch your heart. Watch your kids go across to school. Crossing that in the dark at 4 o'clock in the morning because you got to be to work in Payson at 7. Having medication brought in by a drone because if not, it was an emergency and then you had to have a helicopter. Yeah, $40,000 for medication because you can't live without it. Just some of those stories that went on and on was great. And that went in with the grant. So if somebody in Washington goes through all this stuff that, you want to feel what's going on when that water runs in tunnel, push this button right here. Hey, it's an attention getter. But anyway, thank you very much.
Okay.
Anybody have any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
So I wanted to talk about budgets.
Okay.
Everyone else talked about budgets, but I think
Speak up loud enough because we don't have our second mic.
okay. My biggest thing with budgets, and I get it, we don't want to tax the taxpayers anymore. We don't want to raise taxes. My biggest thing is with your sheriff's department. To me, I feel you guys we have the narcotics drug task force, but when you only have 2 sheriffs doing that in all of our county,
47 square miles?
yeah, exactly. I just feel that we need to work on that a little bit more. I know Woody Klein, I had talked to him about 2-3 years ago. We were kind of working. He was hopefully trying to work with you, or all of you guys together, and other aspects of getting a couple other, deputies in there for that, because that is so huge. Because the big thing is, if we would spend the money, make sure we retain our, and I know you here, I'm not giving you anything you don't know, but if we could retain the sheriff's department, or the sheriffs, or the deputies, and hopefully work on that drug issue, maybe we're not spending as much on rehabilitation to a degree, because that's where it's also going to. So it's one or the other. So my question is, what are you guys really looking at in order to add more deputies to the sheriff's department, especially in that narcotics drug task force area? Or get on HIDA. I keep hearing everybody keep saying we need to work with trying to get on, HIDA, highway, intensity. And it seems like nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to go and keep going. There's no deadline. There's no nothing. I've already talked to Sally down there. Someone just needs to petition it. Either Sheriff's Department or Payson, especially in us, Payson Police Department, and it's still like, can't get anybody to do it. I can't really do it. I'm not a cop. I would do it. Trust me, I would do it 15 years ago. But that needs to be addressed. So I'm just curious what
the thing of it is what, as a supervisor, we don't have much jurisdiction over other elected officials or their offices. The only thing we do is approve their budget.
Yeah.
But what we've done that I think takes a big step in a lot of directions, in a lot of different ways for funding, is another pat on the back to the new supervisors that were put in 2016 to start serving in 2017, is when we stepped into Gila County was many years behind on their state audits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you are behind on your state audits, you can't put in for grant monies, because if the federal government doesn't know what you're doing with your money, they're not going to give you any more. So the thing of it is we worked with staff and made that one of the really important things. We are now caught up on our audits. We're a AAA rating for a rural county, which is completely unheard of. Most rural counties run in the red, not in the black. So the neat thing of it is last year we hired a grant writer.
Oh.
That's her job. 40 hours a week. So that has already made millions of dollars worth of difference back to the constituents that's been there all the time. Gila County just couldn't reach for it. We got a grant the other day. She put in for like $3,000 and they gave her $250,000 because there was that much money in the kitty for the counties that can't put in for it. So that's one of the, there's a lot of little things, and can we look at different stuff? Yes. But one of the huge things for county-wide, including the sheriff's office, is if you got somebody 8 hours a day looking at see what grants are available and reaching for them, and have a AAA county behind them for match money, that's how we were able to get so much done, like with the sheriff's office. Get a court facility up here so that people don't have to drive all the way to Globe if they get jury duty. And getting the youth deal worked on. It's because we've got a AAA rating. I hate COVID, but because of COVID, there's 2% money out there. Gila County was sitting with loans at 7-8%. So we were able to go reach for monies to work on the sheriff's office, to do facilities here, to do a animal control facility down there, and get our outdated sheriff's offices up to date, to get our court systems the way they should be. And we're paying less money now than we were then, and we're getting more done. And so yeah, I think things are being done that's going to help the whole situation, not just one. But like I say, being a AAA graded credit for a rural county is fantastic. Having a full-time grant writer is fantastic. Having a board that cares, that are self-made people, not there for their third retirement or whatever the heck they might reach for, it makes a big difference. So I think in time there's going to be a lot of things change just because we're going back and we're starting to do foundations that are creating a more stable base for everybody. And that didn't directly answer your question, and I know that. But there's nothing that I can do personally to approve more money for the sheriff's office for 3 more officers. I mean, that's something that he can work within his budget, but I can't create his budget for him. And I know that retention is a lot, but I've even got with the college, because our college used to train officers.
Oh, yeah.
And when our college used to train officers, we had a lot more people stay. But if they got to go to Maricopa to get their certification, we can't get them back. They've got offers before they even come home. And if they come home, then they're getting called back. And so, yeah, it's definitely a 24/7 job to work with the issues. But I still think a solid base, a solid financial foundation is the best way to work on any. Then we can grow from there. But before it was shaky. It wasn't that there was money. It was just that it wasn't accounted for. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I know it's probably been hashed and rehashed, but what's the status on the fourth fry? We have, spent millions and millions of dollars and have nothing. So what's the status on that?
Fourth fry.
Fourth fry.
My mind is somewhere else right now.
That's okay. The forest clearing, the thinning, we've had several failed contracts and grants. They've been paid and nothing's happened. So what, as a county, where are we at on that? I know it doesn't affect southern, but up here in northern County it does.
Actually, it does affect all of it. But where we're at with the Forest Service, the federal government, we're nowhere with them. I mean, in my district, between the Woodbury fire and the bushfire, which they purposely burned 250,000 acres, I got with the state to see how much, $8.7 million just in guardrails and fence on 188. Because they started their back burn there and crossed the fence and quit, and the fire's a mile away. But they burned up all the guardrail. And the thing of it is the bank's over here, the road's here, the guardrail's here, and Roosevelt Lake's about 20 foot there. They burnt miles of guardrail right there. What, is the fire going to come off the hill, jump the road, and burn out in Roosevelt Lake? But anyway, so what I'm trying to do to fight these people is I'm trying to get...
But it seems like their policy is, we got to put out the fires, but their control or safe forest policy is we'll control burning.
Well, they don't. That's out of control. Is not control.
I know, but that's
It's
my
not.
point. It's that there's we'll just control burn.
Well, controlled burns would be better. It was better when they did it certain times of the year when they burned what they needed to instead of everything else. Yes, sir. Excuse me, just a second.
Why doesn't the Forest Service let people cut wood sun up to sundown?
Because there's none to cut. They burn it all.
No,
Yeah.
one of mine, he depends on firewood for heating, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He goes out at this time every year, cuts 8 or 10 cords, so he just has store for the winter.
Right.
But they say you can't be out past 8 a.m. because then the dew point's gone. You might burn down the firewood, burn down
Yeah,
the forest with your chainsaw. You go at 6:30 at night when it's going to get dark in 40 minutes. What are you supposed to do? The Forest Service is a bunch of idiots. You know?
Well, yeah, no, they are. And but the thing of it is the Forest Service's boss is up there with the president. You know what I mean? He doesn't even know we live here. So the thing of it is what I'm doing. And the thing of it is okay. My quote to the paper when we got the bridge is, when rural Arizona can get together and make enough noise to be heard in Washington, how sweet it is. So what I'm doing with these fires, with the fire from the Woodbury fire, we're still dealing with floods. I mean, it washes out houses every time it rains from the Woodbury. Now we got the bush fire that had 8 foot of sediment on 188. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to compile costs. Okay, I get with the state. Okay, how much you doing in guardrail? How much you doing in fences? What's it going to cost to rebuild 88 that they burned up with a Woodbury fire that's still not passable? And the mines, what did it cost the mines to defend their property? What did the utility companies have for cost in their deal? What did the Forest Service have cost in fighting? So I'm trying to compile all these costs. Do you see what I'm saying? And so all of a sudden, we get, Paul Gosar, the man is really working for us awfully hard. But he needs help. So the thing of it is if I can go through and take pictures where they burn up miles of guardrail 20 feet from Roosevelt Lake, like the lake's going to burn down, with the cost attached to it. So he can go to the legislature and make them see how stupid it is. But if I just call him, he has no ammunition to fight them with. And so, you know, the thing of it is what I'm trying to do is compile costs and photos and videos. Do you see what I mean? So that when we do get good people in office, and we do have some great people in office, and so when with those good people in office, if you can help, if I can help them, because they want to help, believe me, but you talk about their hands being tied, and they got tape on half their mouth too, because they only let them talk about half the time. So the thing of it is the more ammunition that we can help them with, give them something that they can fight with, because they're up there doing all they can for us. But that's what I'm doing, because it's a Forest Service problem all from the cattle people, that they burning them out of feed, that they're not letting them graze, to they're not putting the cattle fences back, but they are next to the road. You know, I mean, the Forest Service is not functioning well from A to Z. We've got a million problems. We don't need to fight each individual problem. We just need to go up there and run the boss off and get a new boss. And then some of this stuff will start trickling down and take care of itself. Or that's usually how I work. If I got a problem, once I go to the top, I tend to get a little more attention. And that's why I meet with my public, so they can tell me, so then I can go set a staff meeting, staff says, well, that's fine. I pull out my camera and say, is this fine for you? It's not fine for me. Yes, sir.
2 questions. When are you running for governor?
You know, the thing of it is I've kind of been asked him, do you want to go to the House of Senate? It's like, I love being in touch with the people. I go down there, and then it gets political. Then I don't see the people no more. Do you know what I mean? They're coming to me to change laws and stuff. I don't want to change the speed limit. I don't want to change the gas tax. I want to make a difference. And here on the ground with my boots, I can make a difference. I can sit here and meet with the people to see what the people need and put things together to give the people above the state ammunition. Because I love the people at the state, but their hands are tied to a point too, you know. So anyway, thank you very much. And if I ever do, I'll let you know. Second question.
How big of an eye-opener was it when you got into politics?
Well, the thing of it is if you run a construction company for 27 years, it ain't a whole lot different. You know what I mean? You wake up with 15 problems every day. You have your list of what you're going to do Monday morning, and half of it's done by Friday, and now it's grown. But then you know you're getting something done. You know, because if you don't like a challenge, it's not something that you need to do. Because it is a major challenge. If you're going to really help the people, it's easy to say, yeah, but saying and doing is 2 different things. And so, you know, look behind the things that have accomplished. You know, I didn't pull this out, but there's a lot of stuff on there. And that's just stuff in 3.5 years that I've accomplished. But that's nothing, because the list that needs to be taken care of is 9 times this list.
Oh,
And if I do another term, another 2 terms, it's just going to keep growing. But the thing of it is hopefully can make a difference that's going to change things for the future. Like get a composting facility that's going to save both of the landfills in Gila County and help the people with their golf courses and help them with their gardens and help the state get roads done. And bringing things together. You know, as a general contractor, I come in here to build this place. I got to get the concrete guys and the drywallers and the framers and the roofers all on the same page. Well, how neat it is when you tie city entities, county entities, and state entities together all on one project. That's fantastic. You know, that's connection that doesn't happen. You know, the sanitation system down there in Globe. They've been trying for 8 years. Finally got money for them to start a water treatment plant. And the thing of it is we had to get the town of Miami, City of Globe, Gila County, all down at the same table to draw demographics, DMAs, of what their sewer districts are going to be. We did. Everything got done. And I don't think those three entities had ever sat down at the same table for anything. So, yeah, I don't know. I enjoy having something to do. And I still own my construction company, by the way. But when I got elected, I told my project manager, I said, you have two choices. He says, what's that? I said, step up and run this place or find a job because I can't do both. And he did. And so, but yeah, I love having things to do and getting things done. It just, when you put your head down at night, it's a feel-good thing. And so I'm done unless somebody's got some questions.
Okay, well, we can talk with him out in the foyer. So I just want to
Let people know. If you're not on the Tea Party sign-up list, we got you guys on last week, right? It's on the mail list, so here's that. And we'll adjourn out to the other room and we'll cut the cake, and they have all the little tables over here. Oh, we have the 50-50. Yeah, 50-50. All right.
Oh, it was, huh?
So how many birds are there? 25?
No, it was a moth.
They got a bunch of new chairs and tables over there.
Yeah, how about those? Whoops.